And welcome back to Wandering Through Wayne's World. And I say it, you've probably heard it a million times. One of the things I love most is real estate, and with me is Neil Archer from Keller Williams. How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing great.
And yours is easy, because you have an easy last name, Archer. Easy
Archer,
last name.
yep.
Neil is my brother's name, so I can remember that.
There you go.
So anything that makes my life easier is good. All right, we're going to talk real estate.
Let's talk real estate.
Why? Why did you choose to go into real estate?
Why did I choose to go into real estate? I've done jobs with many hats. I was a piano player for years. I was a salesperson for years. I'm originally from the UK, as you can tell from this accent.
Yeah, I got that.
And I worked at the paper for a lot of years. You know, when I first came over to America, I met my lovely wife and came over to Florida and opened a British restaurant down in Jupiter.
Oh, okay.
Loved every minute of that, but it was so much work. I ended up selling it after 3 years.
Well, a restaurant, everybody thinks a restaurant's a business. A restaurant is a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. It really is. Takes every
I owned
minute
a bar,
every day.
so I get it.
Yeah. So this was a restaurant bar, you know. It was called the Queen Mary British Pub down in Jupiter Farms.
Okay.
And we pulled from everywhere. When we eventually sold it, I knew that I had to work. You know, now I get a proper job. You know, so I went into the newspaper industry.
Okay.
You know, having been a business owner and also I can sell. You know, I kind of both sides. You know, that I could you know, talk to these people, and I got thrown into real estate, the real estate category. So my job was to sell advertising to realtors and brokers and real estate officers and developers and constructors. And I got to a place where I kind of figured the newspaper industry was not going into a future state.
No, I have to ask you a question. Cause you worked for the real estate section of the newspaper.
I did, and it was a big, thick publication every week too. It was really neat.
I believe that the newspaper made a lot of money off real estate.
Absolutely.
One of their biggest income.
It was a huge category.
I believe that they shot themselves in the foot because during the real estate bubble burst, their headlines would read, "Real estate in the can, real estate doing terrible." Well, what realtor would want to advertise?
We went up against that pretty deeply, you
Did
know,
you?
with agents and brokers that were coming to us and saying the same thing. You know, why are you doing these headlines about this when you wanted money from us for advertising? You know,
Right.
It was advertising and publication, editorial are two totally different. So it was a balance. You know,
Right.
it was a difficult balance. But yeah, we knew where they were coming from. But you know what? At the end of the day, they needed their ad in there. Because if they didn't have their ad in there, especially those open house ads, the people wouldn't show up. It really did work.
Again, I still believe they shot themselves in the
Yeah,
foot
they
because
didn't do
you said it was
themselves any
this.
favors.
Today it's like this. Everything you want to know when someone comes to buy a house today, they know everything.
They absolutely do.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
everything's online.
I say it and everybody gets mad at me. If the wife likes it, you don't have to sell them. It's guns because they know everything. Everything that you, as a
It's
realtor
true, yeah.
or a real estate
Yeah.
salesperson, would have to tell them and explain to them, they already know.
Right.
In my
They
opinion.
do. They do.
Okay, so where are you selling? I mean,
So yeah, just to go back to where I was with the newspaper, I was
Okay.
selling to agents, and I'm like, you know what, I think I can do this. And it was, to me, I was looking for a career that would take me to retirement, right? So I just quit. Can you believe that? I had this great job. I was in a managerial position, and I was running the real estate team and the automotive team, and I just said, I'm done, you know, and I quit with not knowing that I was going to become. I knew I was going to become an agent and a realtor,
right.
but I had really no schedule. So I went and just spoke to my partner at Keller Williams, a friend who actually became a friend because he sold my house. He sold my house twice, and then we bought twice, and it was my wife that got his ear and said, if he wanted to do real estate, what do you think do you think he'd be okay? And he said he'd kill it. So that was it. I called him up. I'm like, let's do lunch, and I signed to join Keller Williams. Didn't even have my license, so I went and got my license. And the day that I got my license, I signed on.
It's interesting because the way you said, "Yeah, I just quit my good job." Well, I was selling cell phones and making $70,000 a year 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
My friend Bobby and I, we decided to do a piece on cell phone safety on the radio with a disc jockey. So we got on, we did this. We looked at each other when we were done and said, we got to do this. We bought an hour of time on the radio. 3 weeks later, we bought another time. 3 months later, we quit our great jobs.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Right.
just opened up our own.
Well, at least you had some dabbling, right?
Right,
I had no dabbling. I just was like in an area where I was selling to agents, and I'm thinking I could do this, you know. And I also wanted to step away from the 9 to 5 corporate, actually 8 to 5 corporate life of being in the office every day and being under intense pressure to bring them their numbers, right?
Right.
In a completely changing environment. So I kind of wanted to make it, for me, a lifestyle change where I could have, you know, I didn't have to put into PTO if I wanted to go on vacation. Or I could work at, you know, weekends if I wanted to get a deal done. So it's the best thing I ever did. I wish I'd have done it years ago.
Yeah, my wife has been yelling at me for a long time. Wayne, you did great in real estate. Why did you not get your license? Now, a little over a year ago, I had a heart attack and triple bypass. So it gave me
That
time to
stinks.
go to get my license. Now, I mean, I have this company 20-something years, and we do very, very well. But I love real estate.
Yeah.
And she said, what are you doing? You would like excel as you always did. Why are you not doing real estate? So, the procrastinator that I am, but I already have a company.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Took me about a year to get through real estate school online.
Oh, you did it online?
I did it online.
Oh my goodness! I did the 7-day course.
That's great. I did
I
that
did
the
it,
first
just
time
threw
I did it
myself
in
into
Jersey.
it, yeah.
It's the best way to go.
Yeah.
So I finally passed the school test, but I'm older. You know, I'm 62, and it's like, all right, this is going to be so hard. I'm scared to take this test. I can't remember any of this stuff. Now I have to go take the board.
Right.
And do you think it's not on my mind that, oh my God, I don't have the mind of a 20-something-year-old?
Right.
Okay, so will I remember everything? And plus, I'm spoiled and jaded, and I know from taking the course that this is not how real estate is done. Okay, and up north is different.
Right.
Up north, there's none of these weird splits. It's 50-50, and you can be a dual agent. There's no.
Oh yeah, none of that here.
You can't do anything here.
No.
Okay, and up there you have to use an attorney, which is really, really important. Here you don't, and I think that that's terrible. I think using an attorney this is like the second most expensive thing you'll ever do in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
People say, no, a house is the most expensive. I say, yeah, try sending a kid to college. Try raising a kid. Okay, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll get my license and I'll get back into real estate also. All right.
So you asked me where I sell.
Right.
Everywhere, to be honest. I mean, well, not everywhere. I mean, not the entire state of Florida, but I live in Jupiter. I live in Jupiter Farms, and you know, you kind of, when you get into real estate, you think I'm going to sell in Jupiter Farms. Well, it's not the case. I've sold probably 3 properties in Jupiter Farms, you know, in the last 2.5 years. You go where the people are. You go where the buyers are. You go where the sellers are. You know, when I got into real estate, you know, I again 2.5 years ago. It's not been that long, and everybody knows a realtor.
That's true.
Right? Everybody knows a realtor. So when you get your newbie hat on for the first time and it's like, hey, I'm in real estate, here's my business card, you have no traction. You have no past experience. You have nothing. But then you get that one person, right?
That believes
who's
in you.
like, I want to buy a house. Can you help me buy a house? So I help him buy a house. And he gets a great house. And not only does he get a great house, I'm able to represent him as a buyer and negotiate amazingly well with the listing agent, and not only get a reduction in price, but I also get him help on the back end too, to help towards his closing costs. That was my first deal, and I'll never forget it. He'll never forget it. I always tell him, "You're my first," you know. And since then, it's just been, you know, this, we call it the sphere of influence. You know, the people around you, the people
Right.
that you know, and it's gotten that people have called me for selling appointment, for listing appointments, and to sell their house, and to, you know, use them as buyers, and even into rentals too, because rentals, everyone needs a rental, you know.
I have a house, I have a condo, and I have a house. I have an 87-year-old mom that was in assisted living.
Yeah.
I needed to move her out. I needed to find a bigger house. So I went to a realtor and I got a rental.
Yep.
Okay, it's a big 4-bedroom house. But this, you know how I see it like this. Here's realtors. You basically can do the same thing. Where you're going to step apart is customer service.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, it makes a huge
And-
difference.
So I always said, well, if you're just realtors, then if you did a real estate show, you'd be here. Because Dr. Oz is not a better doctor than my doctor.
Right.
He just does a
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
So over the years, I've had tons of real estate shows. And it's one of the things I pushed because I love real estate. And I don't, like, if Mary was with Keller Williams and she did a show, I would tell her to bring on Joe from Century 21.
Right.
There's enough for everybody.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
There is.
and you either work together and make it, or you work separately and don't make it.
Right.
My philosophy has always been what I call co-opetition. And in real estate, you really need that because you never know when you're going to run into Mary's listing and you
Yeah.
want her to help you with that
Absolutely.
deal.
Yeah.
So I get it, but making that first deal just gives you that.
It does, and I remember my first showing. I remember, what was great is the friend that got me into real estate actually became my mentor, which was the best thing ever because anything that I needed to ask him a question on, and it was many questions.
I'm sure.
Believe me, it was
I
many
get
questions
it.
every day. I'm like, dude, it's me again. I'm sorry. Tell me if it's too much. It's like, dude, whenever you want, just call me, and I did all the time. So he threw me this lead, and it was a rental lead, and. I remember taking him out for the first time, and I'm turning up at the showing, and I'm using my super key fob, and it felt weird. It felt like I was out of my comfort zone. But it's amazing how you only do a couple of those days where you're out showing people, and then all of a sudden it becomes natural.
Okay, any weird experiences over the years?
I could write a book. Honestly,
No,
even in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, well, I mean, my first listing, my first showing. So let's say it was 1830 First Street. So the doctor and his wife.
Right.
I take him to 1830 First. I knock on the door. Say, well, I want to show the house. I made an appointment. This house not for sale. Well, I didn't know that the border right here, First Street. Then I guess I'm just gonna say Main Street, and then First Street starts again in a different town, and there's another 1830.
Really?
So I was so embarrassed on that one, and then I went my first listing appointment. Builder, 3 houses. How great would that be?
Right.
Get the listing, go back to my car. It's a Sunday morning. Lock my keys in my car. I was so happy that I got the listing that I took a rock and smashed my back window to get back in my car. Because I said I'm going to make all this money on these listings.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can write a book in real estate.
You can. I mean, there's just I remember doing one sale. The tough ones are where you have somebody who's listing and then they need to purchase something as well. But they need the money from the sale in order to purchase. So they don't qualify for a bridge loan or, we really have to sell this and we
Right.
have to buy this, but we have to do it on the same day, thereabouts. Otherwise, you're signing a post-occupancy agreement where they're a little bit edgy, So I remember this guy and his wife and his kids, lovely, lovely people, and they lived in an HOA, and HOAs are a whole different thing. But we ended up getting a contract on their house, and we sold their house. We did have to do a post-occupancy agreement because, something came up where they had a little too much debt at the last minute, right? So we have to sell their house, we have to move them. So I remember we actually sold their house, we did a post-occupancy on the buyer, he was fine with it. We come up to the house that they're buying, and I was trying to get a hold of the listing agent, saying, hey, we're due for a walkthrough. He wasn't answering my phone, right? So I go to the house. This listing agent was the seller also. It was his property.
Oh my God.
So I couldn't get a hold of him. I'm like, hey, we're early, we want to do a walkthrough. So I went to the house, and there's no lockbox on the house. Try the door. I open the door. It's absolutely filthy in there. It's completely empty of everything. I'm talking refrigerator,
Oh my God.
cooker, stove, everything. It was completely. They'd taken the lamps down, the shades. They'd taken switches off the walls.
Wow.
This was an agent selling a house. Can you believe this? It was a nightmare. And I'm on the phone to the buyer, saying we've got a problem. And he was in his U-Haul with all of his
my
house. Can you believe that? So that was just one story of many that you go through, in this crazy world of real estate.
We're getting to the top of our time. How do people find you?
People find me on Neil. Let me.
I just asked you
I
that.
know. Why is it? I always
Okay,
forget that.
that's
Okay,
all right.
you can call me on 561-601-3212, and my email address is neilarcher@kw.com.
Everybody, real estate is a major purchase, and it's a very serious purchase and a very serious thing. But as a professional, we try to make the process, for lack of a better word, fun, enjoyable,
Absolutely.
so that it goes as smooth as possible. Check Neil out. All right, everybody, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
You're welcome.